What's up, guys? Good afternoon. This is Newbie Real Estate Investors Podcast. We got my man Carmelo over here and Joe Falla, and we got Hector Mendoza coming in a little bit. So let's see. We got a couple of things I want to talk about, and I sent you guys a couple of links to some of the articles.
Look at those yet.
Yeah, it's all good.
We'll
go over it.
Refinance though.
Yeah, let's start with that. What's going on with your refinance?
Well, I bought this property a few months ago. It hasn't been a year yet, so that's the biggest issue these banks are having. So they just want to do like
a seasoning.
Yeah, they're waiting for like a 12-month seasoning. So I'm like, you work your ass off, you get your whole team rebuilding a night crew, day crew, get it done as soon as possible, and now I still got to wait for these banks to wait the whole 12 months to get a refinance to pull out all the cash to pay back the investors. So I'm like, oh man, it's just a pain in the ass to deal with. But we went to like 3 different banks, and they all said the same thing: 1 year, 1 year, 1 year.
Ooh.
But if I were to, sell this property tomorrow, I'll easily get $3.5 million, and the bank will do that loan to the new buyer with no problems whatsoever.
Did you say lender?
Huh?
Did you say lender?
Yeah, I said lender. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm like, I just want to get it done already, because who wants to pay 12% mortgage payments every fucking month? But it is what it is. It's still cash flows, even at the 12% mark. So not too bad.
That was something we brought up last week, how some investors missed the opportunity to refinance some of the deals. Joey was going through some of his deals. Yeah. And my question is why did some people just miss the boat? Why didn't someone just reach out, say, hey, come on, I know we got these properties. You're at 10 right now. We could probably get you to an 8%. Let's get this going.
Yeah, exactly. That's
sometimes the relationship is not there well enough for someone can just pick up the phone and call their clients. It's very important.
Yeah, we had to finish the property, so it's just a matter of, it took us 3 months to finish it. 12 units, 12 kitchens, 12 bathrooms, siding, roofing, windows. So we did a lot of work in a short period of time, but it's just like waiting now, So I'm like, it sucks.
Wow.
But anyway, it is what it is. $18,000 a month mortgage payment sucks.
How much?
$18,000 a month. Yeah, so it's a hefty bill to pay.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
But the tenants pay for it, so who cares?
Are you at least cash flowing though?
We're pretty much break even.
Okay.
Yeah, break even, because we got the the interest to pay, and the taxes and the insurance is paid for the year, so it's fine. So it's break even. It's not an issue, but I would like the cash flow on the property, So
yeah.
If you don't, is the game plan for appreciation down the road?
Well, we already got plenty of equity. It appraised for $3.3 million, and we only owe 1.9. So we're there. It's just a matter of getting out of it and paying back the hard money loan and calling it a day.
And that's in less than a year. You've built that much appreciation.
Yeah, a few months.
So like
we bought it cheap. We got it from a wholesaler, and we got it $100,000 a door in Bergen County. Between
100 units?
12 units.
12,
yeah,
okay.
The one in Bergen County is 100 units. 12 units. And we got that for $100,000 a door, and it has 2 studios, I think a few 1-bedrooms and a bunch of 2-bedroom apartments. So
that's the one where you kind of go through the it's kind of like a driveway.
Yeah, it's 3-4 family houses on one lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
What part of
I've
Hackensack?
been there.
On Fair Street, right by the courthouse.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
right off
the downtown area, yeah.
Yeah, downtown area. It's an up-and-coming area there. I grew up down the block on Hudson Street my entire life. My mother still lives there. So I'm very familiar with the area. So when I saw $100,000 a door, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy this shit.
That's an awesome area, because that's where all those new residential buildings just went up.
Yeah. They got a lot next door at, I think, San Zario.
And they're still building.
And they want to build apartments right next door. So I was like, hey, it sounds like a plan to me. So Main Street's right there. They're developing that whole area. It's all stores and cafes and restaurants. It's got a while to go, but all those apartments that they're building, eventually you get a lot of foot traffic, which is nice,
Yeah.
So it's a home run deal, that's for sure. It's just a matter of these banks busting your chops about stupid shit. I'm like, if I sold this to you tomorrow for $3.5 million, they'll give you a loan for it with no problem. But they won't refinance me out. I'm like, seriously? But anyway, it is what it is.
You mentioned wholesaler. A lot of people, there's a negative connotation about dealing with wholesalers, right?
Yeah.
So is this a wholesaler you've worked with in the past, or?
Yeah, these guys are professionals. They know how to run a show. You know what I mean?
So they're not doing 1 or 2 unit houses. This is multifamily.
They do a lot. They do
multifamilies.
They do smaller units also. But these guys have been around for a while. They have a whole system in place, and they get pretty good deals. So it actually works out pretty well. So some deals are great. Some deals, it's like, all right, I don't know how you guys are going to make any money on that, but somehow somebody buys it. So,
right.
Well, the wholesaler they're making money. So they're not as concerned with the investors not making money. That's
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
that's the issue. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there a lot of these guys now, you know, especially the newer wholesalers, they're not leaving any meat on the bone for us.
No, exactly.
You know. So also they don't know how to negotiate. You know, that's the other problem.
Yeah, it was funny because I had a guy come today to my house, knocks on the door, he's selling like pest control. This motherfucker was a great fucking salesman, man. I'm like, this guy.
Do door knocking?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, you're fucking good, man. I was like, you got to make at least $300,000 a year. If you're not, you're in the wrong fucking business. And then he walked off, and I actually on the way here, I was driving around trying to find my business card. I was like, I want to hire this motherfucker.
You probably thought you were busting his chops.
No, I was like, this guy's good, man. I was like, this guy is, you know, he had all the right lines, all this. I was like, this guy's a good salesman. I was like, you can't sell a salesman, I told him, so you get the fuck off my property. But in the same
You
token,
didn't buy anything.
I didn't buy nothing. But in the same token, I was like, I want to hire this motherfucker. I was like, he's good as shit. So I was driving around trying to find him. I was like, son of a bitch, hope he comes back.
Well, if you don't hire this guy, I'll freaking hire him.
Seriously,
Yeah,
man.
we're looking for a couple more designers.
Yeah.
You know, to work on the road. You know, not to sit here in the office.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
gotta
be on
go
the
out.
road, go out, measure, and you know, just talk to clients. You know, do designs.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
be good for that, man. This guy was
Yeah.
good.
Door knocking over the phone? Like, what type of sales you looking for?
No, it's basically a kitchen designer,
Okay.
but
Where
you're-
could they contact you if someone out there in the audience might know someone?
Well, just send me a DM. You know, send me a DM. Just text me, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You know, just
It's hard to find good salespeople, man. Everyone's like, you know,
where
everybody
you
wants
can
to
find
make
good salesmen?
$200,000 a year, and they want to work about 10 seconds.
I used to find really good salesmen from Foot Locker and car like
car
Hertz.
sales.
Not car sales. Like Hertz, like rentals.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, those guys were
surprised.
beasts.
Yeah.
They were beasts. All those accessories, all the add-ons that they have to add on, you know, the insurance
yeah.
that everyone tells them
Just
no.
all bullshit.
They get real big spiffs for that stuff. I don't really do anymore.
Yeah.
But the best salesman that I used to get was Foot Locker specifically, and
No shit.
from the rental industry.
Yeah, I know even the car salesmen, those are good car salesmen. Those guys are good, man.
A
'Cause
real good car
yeah,
salesman. Yeah.
they can make, you know, $100,000, $200,000 a year selling cars. They can make more money doing real estate. You know, shit.
a lot more.
Yeah, a lot
I
more, and you
used
work your own hours.
to one summer. This was probably like around 2000, 2001. I used to do rental cars.
Oh, really?
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I used to work for Alamo Rent a Car.
Oh, yeah.
You know, same thing you were talking about, and we didn't get anything. I was making like $8-9 an hour.
Shit.
You know, I quit my 100K job to do that.
Who told you to do that?
Huh?
Who told you to do that?
No, I got tired, man, because I was doing
$8 an hour. Shit, man.
I was doing insurance, right? I was selling life insurance, 401ks, all that, the finance stuff. So I went to China, and then after I came back from China, I was like, shit, I don't want to do any. I don't want any stress anymore. I don't want to work hard, right? I want to do something I like. So it wasn't really my passion to do, you know, sell insurance, right?
Homeowners insurance, car insurance?
No, life insurance.
Life insurance. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
so I
gotcha.
did
Yeah.
VULs. You know, I did whole life. I did
Okay.
term. I opened up annuities for people, and I did like 401ks, all that kind of. You know, like my title was investment advisor, right?
Okay.
So I was licensed.
Inbound or outbound? Like, were you getting leeds?
No,
or?
I wasn't getting any leads.
Wow,
so
that's
I had to
10
get all
times
my
harder.
own leads. So it was really hard. You know, for 18, 19-year-old kid, it was hard as hell.
Yeah.
Hard as hell, right? Because I didn't have any. All my friends, they all wanted to just party. That's all they wanted to do, right? They didn't care about insurance. They're like, insurance? What the hell?
Shit, look back now. I was like, I should have bought it when I was 18 years old.
Yeah. Well, I did. I bought insurance. You know, I sold it to my parents, to every family member I could find. I sold insurance to them, and I sold to a couple of clients. And I remember I sold it to one older lady. I don't know if she's still around, but haven't seen her in 20 plus years, obviously. But I sold her. Actually, I got her to do a 1031 exchange on her annuity, right?
Oh, no shit. You can do that?
Yeah. So she had an annuity with, I forget what company, and then she transferred it to my company. And that's when the market started going up. So she had like around 80K in her annuity, and then she switched it to my company. And then in less than a year, it went up to like 150,000. And she was like, holy crap.
What year is this?
This is like 1999.
Okay.
Okay. And she was like, "Holy crap, you are like amazing!" Like I didn't do anything really. I just put her in the right account, and the market did all the work.
Right.
And basically, it doubled her account in a year. So she loved me. So she was a nurse. She was an RN. So she used to take me around to all her nurse friends. Like we went to like Jersey City Medical.
Joey's like, oh yeah, hot chicks, man, perfect.
Oh, bro, they were like 60-year-old ladies. 60-year-old Filipino ladies. So I used to go around there and then, just kind of signing everybody up. And then, like I said, and then that summer, I got some money from, I had a car accident on the parkway. Somebody rear-ended me. And then I finally got my lawsuit money, right? So I got like $3,000. So I took that $3,000, went to China for the summer. Not the whole summer, like for a month. Okay, I stayed with my grandmother and my aunt. And then from there, I didn't do anything. Like I just went there, like they cooked and cleaned and, there was no school, no nothing, right? So I was like a freaking prince. So when I came back, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this insurance anymore.
$8 an hour, I'll take it.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, driving cars? Okay, I'll take it. So that was the long story.
Yeah, now with Turo, you start your own rental car business.
Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking about, even though I go down to Florida all the time and I always rent a convertible, I'm paying like, $80, $90 a day. I'm like, this guy's car payment's like $400. And I'm paying.
Not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows now? But I'm like, these guys are making money hand over fist renting these cars, which is great, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of downside.
You know what I just found out? And I come
smack your shit up.
And I come from retail. You know who was making $80,000-$90,000 back in 2001, 2002?
Who?
The guys that was selling the warranties at Circuit City.
Oh, I could imagine.
I didn't know
bullshit fucking warranties.
They were making almost $100,000 selling warranties.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because those things were
And that's why
garbage.
Circuit City collapsed because
Really?
they stopped giving them the commission for the warranties, and all the good salesmen just left.
Yeah, seriously.
It wasn't worth the $9-8 an hour that they were making.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, they're like screwed after.
Oh, look who we got.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yo.
We got Hector.
Hold on, man.
Nice to see you again, brother.
Likewise.
Are you doing good?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Closing some. Was the
We're
market
gonna
on the
see-
up?
You got family in China. What? You never got into the import business?
No.
You don't think it's worth it?
No, my family wasn't in the import export.
Oh, they weren't.
No.
Oh no.
No, like
I'm not saying all Chinese are. I'm just asking. If you got
no, but there's a lot, right? There is a lot.
You know what's funny, Joey? Did
I'm
you
not being
mention that?
stereotypical here. I'm just saying that's a
How
good business
familiar
idea.
are you with that? Like, I saw a documentary. I don't know if I talked to you about it. I saw a documentary on YouTube. I'm so mad I didn't save it. It's a couple years back. How it was the vice president or whatever, China did like a tour of the world. And he went to Germany, he went to the United States, he went to Canada. And he saw like this industrial revolution happening back in the 70s. And he went back to China and said, listen, if we don't get on board with what's going on everywhere else, we're going to get left double behind than we are right now. And then it started from like a button factory where China said, okay, we're going to let this one. Tell me, I don't know if you know the story.
I don't know the story, but
I don't wanna say I'm-
I know
the
you're,
story, I'm saying
you're
I'm messing it up.
referring. Yeah, I know you're referring to. It is actually the president. His name is Deng Xiaoping.
At the time,
Yeah, like
Okay.
around the
77,
yeah.
76, something like that, right?
Right. Late 70s. Yeah. So he's the guy that actually he came to the U.S. He was actually the first Chinese president that visited the
That's
U.S.
what I remember from the
Yeah,
documentary.
So he really started it off. That's when like Mao was gone.
Okay.
So the next president, Deng Xiaoping, right? So he came to basically the U.S. and he was like, okay, well, we're communists, but we're gonna make it capitalistic, So anybody basically you can start your own business, right?
That's what I saw in the
Yeah.
documentary, yeah.
So it's not like just kind of how everything is state owned. No longer. So they keep it state owned, like really important infrastructure, like oil, gas station. All the gas stations are state owned. The banks
Okay.
are state owned.
But the personal businesses are private.
Yeah. Like you could open up your own shop, right?
And there's not much regulation, right? That's the way you guys in China are able to like just build a business in a couple of months. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's not much regulations, not a lot of permits and stuff like that.
Well, no, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
but
there's so
in-
much
in-
red tape over
compared to
there.
New
You
Jersey?
got
But
you got
in
to
China,
just.
I've seen they can build a hospital in like 8 months. And
Oh no, but that's government.
okay.
That's government. That's different than like you as an individual. You're not gonna go and open a hospital.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
like a residential building. There's a lot of red tape to get through.
No, there's none. Like for example, if you live in, let's say, some small village, right, and you want to build a 12 floor building, you can go ahead and do it.
Oh, really?
No regulation.
No regulation.
That's what I was asking about.
Yeah, so you go ahead and do it because it's very common because the father always wants to pass down the property to all the kids. So like each kid will have a floor. Like second floor will
That's always in
be
Italy. Yeah.
yeah. Second floor will be for the oldest son, and then third and the fourth. Like that.
So they're not necessarily renting it out.
No, they don't do it for rental.
Okay.
No. So
rental income.
in China, the way they do real estate is all appreciation game. Like how here we do like a fix and flip,
flow.
and we do a cash flow. They don't do cash flow,
Oh.
and that's why their real estate is collapsing because they don't do cash flow.
Oh, really?
They don't. Yeah, they don't do cash flow. So they base everything on appreciation. So that's why.
Are these like variable rates out there, mortgages or?
I honestly don't know anything about their mortgage, system, because they do everything cash.
Really?
Yeah, everything's
Really?
cash pretty much. Yeah, except the bigger companies, right? The big developers, they'll get a mortgage, but your average person who's buying, so most of the places are big developments. They're usually like 30 or 40 story, like smaller buildings, right? And then what they do is they kind of sell it as a condo,
Yeah.
right?
Gotcha.
But there's no like condo association like here,
Again, less red tape.
Yeah. So it's just like the building maintenance, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then each person has their own.
I was watching it. I think it was like Silk Road or something on
Yeah.
Netflix, and
Yep.
it was like how China's just taken over
Oh yeah.
Africa and all these other countries.
With the
It's on
diamond
Amazon.
mines and the
Yeah.
cobalt.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and then the United States is like, 11 years to build the Empire State Building. I mean, and the World Trade Center. I'm like, seriously? Whatever. It's like 20 years. So I'm like, these guys, we're going to be so far left behind. Even like Dubai, you look at Dubai, they built an entire city in 20 years, 30 years?
Oh, it's crazy.
And, we can't get one building in downtown Manhattan for that at the same time frame. So you look at these things and I'm like, man, we're fucked. we're seriously fucked at the rate these guys are going,
I saw another documentary back in the 80s, like when Detroit was collapsing and all the car dealers, all the automakers were shutting down out there, all the factories.
Yeah.
How China was coming over and they were actually buying all the steel and shipping it back to China to build their infrastructure on pennies on the dollar. I'm like, this is freaking amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think they had another one. Was like, and it's also, I think it's based out of Detroit, where they came in for the auto manufacturers and they took over the Chinese, and they took over a company over in Detroit, and it was like, I guess, a clash between the workers and because the Chinese are like,
That was wasn't that Michael Keaton movie? No, Michael Keaton Batman.
which one? It's a documentary.
Oh, no, it was a movie about that.
Oh, was
How
there?
he went over to, I think it was Japan or something like that, to take over the auto industry. And it was
they
a big
came here and
clash.
took
It was a
over.
movie from the 80s. It was a movie from the 80s.
Oh really?
I can't remember. My wife
don't
was
know.
like, "Remember that movie?" No, I don't remember that line. I don't remember.
I'm a
shit.
big movie buff.
I can't remember anything. I was like, if I watched the movie yesterday and there's like a line that everybody remembers, and I forgot all about it already.
So that was here in the U.S.?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was,
They came. The Chinese company came into Michigan, and they took over a car manufacturing company.
One of the
They
big
make,
ones.
like windshields or something. They make car parts, and I was a documentary on, it, and they were clashing with the Americans because they want to work 9 to 5, and these guys are like 6 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
And they brought in the Asian guys from overseas, and these guys are just going round the clock.
Yeah.
And the Americans like, hold on a second, I gotta get home. So it's a different mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, what they do is they throw everybody in the dormitory.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's Foxconn.
Even you know what it is? Even Tesla in China has that.
Really.
The dormitories.
Yeah, in
like,
Shanghai.
Like Foxconn has.
Yeah. All the big companies. All the
Explain
big
that.
factories.
Explain that. Because that's really interesting with the dormitories, what they do over there.
Well, basically, in order, because there's a lot of quote unquote migrant workers, right? So a lot of people are coming from all different parts of China. Okay, so they all kind of converge to wherever the factory is in China, right? But now, in order to make sure all your workers show up, you got to be able to house them. Okay, so China does this, or a lot of the Chinese culture, they do this, right? So a lot of restaurant owners here in the U.S. they do this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, all the takeout or the eat-in restaurants, the Chinese specifically, right? Even a lot of the Spanish, believe it or not, they house the workers.
Well, I've seen like sometimes at the nail salon places, they'll all get in a van together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
But
and
I
they
didn't
all,
realize it was in other industries as well.
basically-
yeah,
it's
all
slavery.
over. Well, it's not really
Indentured
slavery.
servitude, right?
Well, it's not necessarily that.
Yeah,
It's more like, hey, you make sure that the workers come to work and that they have reliable transportation and they have a place to stay,
I should start that.
And then not only that, they're saving up money
Don't get to jail, bro.
because they're not out and about. They're not, driving back and forth to work, you know.
Gotcha.
So that's all it really is.
I remember one of my agents, his father owned a bunch of buffets, and he had a house in I forgot what town it was in, and it was just bedrooms and beds, and all the employees would live there. They go to
Kind of like
work
a
in the
crash
morning.
pad.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's basically what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's how they do it. Huh? I was like, it's genius. Well, think about it, right? You look
Yeah.
at Dubai. Dubai, they built and they use a lot of people from India. They basically people from
Are
India.
they?
built
Yeah,
Dubai.
yeah. A lot
You know what I
of
mean?
Indians, Pakistani.
And then you go back to the United States in the 40s and 50s. All the immigrants built the United States. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
yeah.
now it's like no one immigrants left, so we're not building anything because no one else wants to fucking work. You know? Shit.
Well, there's a whole border stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not letting them out. So.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
But
anyway.
you were saying about the factory, so they come to the factory.
Yeah, so they get to the factory, and then so they have the factory is all set up where they have a dormitory nearby, right? And then they all sleep there. So there's like this. You can see like in movies, like they either have like rooms, small rooms, or there's just a giant hall, and everybody's got like a little like. What do they call it? Like air beds, right? Almost like an air bed.
And it's kind of
Like
like,
a
a
mattress.
Hostel. It's like
The way I
a
understand, it's like a contract, right? They get like a contract. Like,
It's not really a contract. They could fire you whenever, or
Okay.
you could leave whenever you want.
okay.
But most people don't
Yeah.
because
Steady work.
yeah, it's steady work. Otherwise, they go back to their village and they got to be a farmer,
Yeah.
Right.
right? So it's either that.
And
Or
this is happening today.
this happens. Yeah, this
Except in the United
happens. Yeah, this happens even in the U.S. Like I was just telling you, all the restaurants, nail salons. A lot of the Hispanic community does it too.
Sometimes,
Oh,
well, not sometimes. What I've understood is, when you're driving around, like say Newark or in Elizabeth, and those women are like selling those fruits.
Yeah.
They're doing that to pay back
Yeah.
what the cost of getting them over the border was.
Right,
So
exactly.
they have like X amount to make before they're not in debt to these,
Really? Oh, shit.
whatever
The
you want to call them.
coyotes, yeah.
The coyotes. I didn't want to use that word.
Yeah.
That get them over the border and say, hey, it's going to cost you $10,000 worth of sales for you to not be
No,
in debt
but
to me
you
anymore.
gotta pay that up front. You don't pay it on the back end.
No, they're paying it back. I understand. Some of them are paying it back here. That's why they're out there
Where'd
selling.
you get that info?
I got it from.
If I were them, I'd take off and be like, fuck your mango sales.
No, because
Some of them are paying it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, they got like an ankle bracelet?
Like they
on it?
didn't. I think they just know. Like if you're not, they scare them. It's a lot of scare
Yeah,
tactics.
yeah.
If you don't, we know where you live. We'll call immigration. We know ways of sending you back. The same truck that got you is the same truck that'll send you back.
Yeah. It's
Probably.
sucks.
Yeah.
Joe, I got a question for you. And going back to the China and everything that's happening in China.
Yeah.
So is it true that people get mortgages before the houses are developed in China? Is that true? And that's one of the reasons why the real estate in China is falling.
No. So they don't. A lot of people don't get mortgages
Okay.
in China. All right. They a huge majority are just cash payers. Right. So if you don't save up enough money,
Yeah.
you don't buy a house. You just rent.
Because I think I read an article that might be a bubble that's happening. I guess people are starting to transition into getting mortgages.
Yeah,
But they're
that's-
getting mortgages before the house is actually developed. So there's a lot of people, a lot of developers signing people in, getting the money from citizens
be.
that got in the mortgage. The construction is not being built, and they're losing the money.
No shit.
So that is actually one of the reasons why the economy in China and the real estate is collapsing. Now, I guess my question would be, if the real estate market in China crashes, right, what would be the impact here in the U.S.?
Well, it's already, first of all, it's already crashed.
Would we see a lot of people from China cashing out here to pay
Is it
something back
what
home?
Hector's saying? Because I'm hearing the same thing, but I haven't really read any articles about the.
Yeah,
the
I
real
haven't.
estate.
I honestly haven't read any article about that because China, they don't really release any
You can
real
only
info.
the
right?
information, unfortunately, that they do give, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. So you don't get any of that true info. So
That's when, like, when I see like Neo release their earnings and stuff like
Oh,
that. I'm
yeah,
like,
$50 million a week.
yeah,
Well, I guess
it's-
just trading Chinese companies in the stock market, it's a little risky.
It
Just
is.
because everything,
sure.
right?
yeah,
And that's something
yeah,
to be mindful
everything
of.
is not audited as
Right.
like here,
Right.
like the companies here.
Yeah.
I mean, they are audited, but to their standard.
Yeah, and I guess it goes to like what's happening with Jack Ma. Is he
I don't know.
lost? Is he?
Well, I heard
Yeah.
he
He
had
came
surfaced.
back.
Yeah, he came back.
He came back?
last
yeah.
year. Last
Yeah.
year.
Is
I was
it-
just about to
Okay,
mention
but
that.
he said last year. Is it
He
really
took a
him?
siesta for like 8-9 months. or
Is it
something
really
like that.
him, or is it an AI portrayal of him talking?
I don't
You
know.
see what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Like, why isn't he on the TV as he used to be? Right.
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Well,
with
because
Alibaba?
all right, so they do want to silence him because he
This
had
is the CEO of Alibaba. guys.
Alibaba, yeah.
Alibaba, right?
But
It's like
he
the Amazon of China.
but he started a company. His startup like Ant Group, right? And also Alibaba. So Alibaba, they basically they have a lot of media companies as well, right? So the Chinese government told them, hey, listen, can you guys like divest from these media companies? Because the government is scared of them because now they're starting to have a voice, right? So they're like, hey, you gotta like split up the company
So he's
because
monopolizing.
yeah,
Do
because
they want
they're
more
big.
regulation, or do they just want them to be split up? The media company.
Well, they're putting more regulation
On the media company.
because, again, they're not what the government want, right? The government wants to control everything all the information that comes and goes, right? So they're like just a giant filter.
Yeah.
But Ant Group, not Ant Group, sorry, Alibaba, they're around the entire world. Right, and now their social media presence and you can't control what the workers say, right? And so one worker is like, "Hey, we want democracy," Now the government's got to shut them down, right? Just because of that. So they want to be careful of what they're putting out there,
Like say democracy, right? Is it really much different there, the way things are run, than the United States, besides them voicing their opinions or whatever the case?
Not being able to.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah. So as long as you're not saying anything that's anti-government,
yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah.
You do whatever the hell you want. Like I've been there so many times.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not like they're openly bashing the government.
Yeah. Like
And-
fuck Biden.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like you can't say that. You can't say that you could say that here,
Yeah.
but you can't be in China and go fuck she.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you just can't do it.
Yeah.
So you could like if you're nobody cares,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you have a voice, if you're like a publisher, if you've got like a huge following,
Yeah.
and you say something and somebody finds out you said it, then you can be in deep shit,
Really?
right?
Wow.
And how are they saying? Because a lot of the social media that we have access to here isn't available in China, right? There's no Facebook, there's no Instagram.
No, there's none of that. But you can still you get a VPN and you turn it on. You use your VPN. Like that's how I was able when I was there. So the last time I was there was 2019, right when the Hong Kong riots were going on. I was there. I was gonna go visit Hong Kong, but I decided not to because the riots was happening, and you just use a VPN. Like I was able to get on all my all my Gmail, my Facebook.
Okay. So there's tricks. There's ways.
Yeah, there's ways around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I downloaded the VPN while I was here in the U.S. And I just when I was there, I just turned it on. Boom.
Okay.
And you're good.
Cool.
Yeah. So
There's ways around it.
there's ways around it.
Yeah, I just think they're I was watching that documentary, and they're so far advanced with you walk into a store, no cashiers, you just pick the stuff, throw it in your bag. It's paid for, and
you can do it. They scan your eyes,
scan your
fingerprints,
eyes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
These guys are so far advanced compared to us. It's crazy.
Oh,
I think personally they're just taking over the world, which is at the end of the day,
they can't even do a construction job up the block in less than 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, it's these guys are just way ahead of us, and they're just going to take over eventually. Because the United States is not going to be the powerhouse anymore at the rate we're going. I don't see that in the next 15, 20 years. That's
India's right behind them.
Huh?
India's
Oh
right
yeah,
behind them.
yeah. Everything is going to India now. So everything that used to go to China
Really.
is now going to India.
There's more manufacturing plants. A lot of the U.S. companies are going into China.
Yeah,
Tesla's
because-
about to open up their first factory.
Who?
Tesla.
Where? In India?
Yeah.
In India,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Soon.
Wow.
You might know.
Well, they all ride bikes over there. So.
Electric bikes.
Well, yeah. The problem is that India's infrastructure is, in my opinion, is not as good as China's. Right?
sure.
I mean, like you go to any modern city in China is it looks more modern than any U.S. city.
Yeah.
If you go there, right? If you go to India, that's not the case. India still looks like India. All those old pictures of India, it still looks like.
But China looked like China back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at any big city in China, it looks like China in 2040.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
But you could compare it this way. How did bring it back to real estate? How did Jersey City look back in
Oh yeah.
back in '97?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
there in
absolutely.
02, and it was I remember it was Newport Center Mall.
It's about building the infrastructure.
I think the whole downtown area became developed when Goldman Sachs came in. Right after 9/11. And prior to that, it was my brother used to work at Newport Center Mall. It was just Newport Center Mall, prostitutes and drug dealers down there. It was just flat land. There was nothing. Journal Square, I used to teach, and they used to break into the teachers' cars for the the change in the ashtray. Fuck, it's crazy, Jersey City back in the day. Now it's,
But they built the infrastructure,
Yeah.
and they
exactly.
drove. They got a drove from New York, and now
It's
take
the
a
same
look
thing's
down there.
happening now. It's just things are so expensive in New York. I don't know why, but everyone's coming back into Jersey, and I think I posted the other day. Someone, they're buying houses in Paramus, New Jersey, $2 million. What the heck's your mortgage on $2 million, roughly?
Got to be around 10,000 plus
Yeah.
the taxes.
Plus,
Yeah.
you're looking at 12.
Your taxes are around 25, 30 grand.
You're looking 12 to $15,000 a month. You can rent that house for $7,000. So I'm like,
With a pool and a
Yeah.
doorman, you don't have to worry about shoveling snow and landscaping and
So it's
draining the pool every year.
so to me, it's this just doesn't make any sense, man. I'm like, it's crazy.
So where do you guys think is the next Jersey city in Jersey?
The next Jersey city.
I see
Yeah.
Newark going to the roof. These fucking prices, man.
I'm not going to give my opinion.
And I see a lot of even the tenants, this is what I saw in Jersey City when I was there earlier, and then it started transitioning over. It's in Newark now. It's the tenants can't find apartments.
In Newark.
In Newark, Section 8 tenants are being driven out in Newark. And same thing happened in Jersey City, where the market rents in Jersey City, Section 8, we used to pay me, $1,500 for a 3-bedroom. But market rent was $1,900. Cash payers are paying $1,900. And you start driving out the low-income area, tenants. And I started to see that in Jersey City, where it's okay, my voucher's, $1,200 for a 1-bedroom.
Well,
But the bedrooms for 1 bedroom are $1,500. So I don't know. We'll see. But
Would we ever see Atlantic City be somewhat close to
saying that.
Jersey City?
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch. It's the last.
you need
Yeah.
big
The
money.
sooner the better, I hope.
You need.
I got some property.
I keep saying that. I don't. Taking the weather into account, I don't see why Atlantic City can't be like the next Las Vegas. but it takes like movie studios to start putting money down there, start getting actors to start building restaurants and all that kind of. It takes a big infrastructure to get people to want to go. And I don't know how that airport is down there.
The big issue right now.
International, is it?
I'm not sure. I don't think it is.
It is. It is.
It is Atlantic City.
International.
Yeah, I believe
Really?
it is.
Oh, wow.
I believe it is. But it's not a big airport. It's small.
I just seen the plane. I've never driven by it or anything like that.
No. Yeah, I remember I flew it twice. I flew Atlantic City Airport twice. I think we were like heading down to Florida both times. But I think it's the local crime in the local area. You got a lot of crackheads.
Yeah.
A lot. Like around
But
my
you had that in Jersey City,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
You had
that's
in
what I mean.
Jersey City,
Right.
Hoboken.
Yeah.
In New
like
York,
Greenville,
Long Island
yeah.
City, Brooklyn, Bushwick, Williamsburg,
Yep.
Park Slope.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
So right. I had one of my tenants. He used to be dealing, I guess, just marijuana. I don't know what the hell he was dealing, but we just got him evicted. Sheriff came, locked him out about 2-3 weeks ago. So, and then he was still having people that was still his spot, right? So finally, we kept calling the cops on him. So I think he relocated.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's it. That's what you got to
So now there's less homeless, there's less crackheads around my building, at least.
do. Yeah. Yeah, like down there, you got a while to go. So that's like the beginning stages of Jersey City. And Jersey City took what? Good 15 years? 10 years? You know what I mean? From 2001 to maybe 11, 12. Because Journal Square still was rough in that, 2010, 2011. So now we're almost 20
And I
years
really,
out.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think a lot of it starts with the real estate.
Oh,
Once the rent start, like you said before, once the rents start going up,
Yeah.
you get it doesn't matter the color.
Yeah.
You start getting a better class of tenant.
Yeah.
And then the housing starts to appreciate because people start buying. I'd rather buy than rent.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive down here. And that's where, people start coming. And now with all this work from home stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's going to take some time.
It's like those,
me not knowing Jersey well.
It's like those towns with the high property taxes. It keeps the riffraff out. That's what they say.
Exactly.
Well, I can't afford $80,000 a year in property taxes, so
Yeah.
it's and the same thing with the rents. It's the exact same thing as what happens. It's like these people start moving out. First, you got the crackheads, and then you got the low income housing. They get pushed out, and the low income housing gets pushed down. Then you see people walking their dogs where 2 years ago there was 10 dead bodies. You're like, what the fuck's going on? So
You start
Yeah,
seeing the little terriers.
yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
it's like it's a new class of people moving in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but you gotta have jobs. That's the thing. But they are putting a lot of investment there. So there was a old airport, and they're making it like an F1, like an F1 racetrack.
Okay.
So they're putting that there. There's
Weren't they opening a movie studio? We were talking about that the other day.
a movie theater.
A movie studio.
Oh, movie studio. Oh, I
Somewhere
don't know.
down there in like a Air Force base or something like that.
I don't know about that one.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, Monmouth County.
It's going to be the second biggest studio for Netflix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
That's
Nice.
big. It's gonna bring a lot of people in.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know they're putting Lionsgate's putting one in Newark.
Yeah.
Already is
But
there.
it's
They're,
already.
they're an affiliation of Lionsgate.
Oh, are they? Yeah. So-
Universal's putting one in Secaucus.
Who?
Universal Studios.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
So there's a lot of movie stuff coming to Jersey.
It's right under the bridge by Pulaski.
We're the next Hollywood because I guess Hollywood's all
Focus
fucking crackheads in the street now. That's why.
Yeah, under.
Talking about like
They- They're relocating.
Yeah, relocating. They
Kearney.
That's still no.
Pardon?
No, I think that's. Is that still Secaucus?
No, Secaucus finishes like before the winter.
Before,
nine.
also it has to
Yeah.
be underneath the Pulaski. No, that's Jersey City, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because North Kearney, I think, is right next to Jersey City, underneath the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so that's
And that's all your tenants coming in from Jersey City.
right.
Yeah, yeah, Jersey. I think the thing is when I just follow the train station, so that's why I remember years ago somebody told me that, and that's why in Jersey City I started buying like just one train station into New York.
That's the key.
And then I was like, okay, I was like back then. I was like when I bought shit, it was cheap, like 75,000, 125,000, 150,000, and then it's like 3 families were 350. I'm like, damn, it's just fucking expensive. So I went into Newark, and I was like, oh, 3 families, 75,000 again. So I started buying in Newark, and that's 2 train stops to New York City. You know what I mean? So.
I remember seeing all the gentrification in Brooklyn, especially like Williamsburg and in Bushwick, and the main train out of out of Brooklyn, out of that area, was the L train. And sometimes I'd be in that area, and it'd take at least 3 trains would pass me by before I can get on the train.
Really? No shit.
That's how packed it got. They weren't ready for the influx of people that started moving that area.
Wow, that's crazy.
Get ready, South Bronx. You guys are next.
South Bronx, yeah.
Yeah, they're already
Cheap,
gentrified in the
expensive?
South Bronx. They
Cheap
just
out
built
there?
a whole bunch of new like high rises, like 40-story high rises in the
Really?
South Bronx,
No shit.
based in Manhattan.
I gotta look into that.
It's crazy.
Get some buildings out in the Bronx, man. That's what I need. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I wouldn't touch New York.
Too much
But
regulation.
I was listening online. If it's, I think, 3 or 4 story building, it's not rent controlled.
Okay.
And if it's more, it's high. If it's over 5 stories, it's rent controlled. So you got to take a look at what the guidelines are. Because I was like, oh shit, hold on a second. They were interviewing our landlord. He goes, I would never buy a building in New York over 4 stories.
But you've never lived in New York, right?
I never lived in New York. No.
So it doesn't matter whether there's rent control, there's your sanitation tickets, there's your alternate side parking tickets, there's your just because tickets. It's not just that; it's the other stuff that comes with living in New York.
Yeah, my wife was from
Even
Jackson Heights.
even if you're not living there.
Yeah, I remember my wife's from Jackson Heights, so I used to visit all the time and stay there. And then I got to park on the other side. This, that. I'm like, I had my license. I had my New Jersey license suspended because I had 12 points for speeding. So I was like, fuck this. I went to
That's
New
all
York.
cleared up, right?
Yeah.
Do
it's
we
all
need to
clear.
edit this part
Nah,
out?
it's fine. You're good. And then I went to New York, and I got a New York license, and then I had that suspended because of fucking tickets. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I had to go restore that license. I had to come back to Jersey to get my license. I'm like, this is fucking
Then
crazy.
these are the little things you don't think about, right? So
Yeah.
now you went into the South Bronx. You found an amazing building, right?
Yeah.
4 unit, no rent control. You're cash flowing double what your mortgage is, right? But each time you go there, you're catching a speeding ticket from the cameras that are all over New
really?
York City.
Yeah.
And now, so each time, not only are you going to pay the tolls, and now if you drive through Manhattan, come next year, you're going to get paid the congestion pricing that they're going to be charging.
really?
That's like $20-something a month.
Yeah.
So it's all these added costs about living in New York.
Yeah, if I could find something in the South Bronx to do Airbnb, man, you make a fucking killing.
You need one of those new electric helicopters to get there, because just the cost to get
Really?
into the city,
That's crazy.
plus the time it's going to take
I'll
you.
take my bike. Across the fucking bridge on my bike and shit. Like,
But these are all the added costs
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
as you know.
Well, I don't know.
looking-
What are the property
if you're coming
taxes in
outside.
the Bronx
It's,
compared to New Jersey? Here
oh,
they
I
pay-
saw one the other day, like a 2,
1,000 a year?
3. Yeah, it was like a 3-bedroom for like $3,000, maybe less than that.
Exactly. So you're paying like 10 here, so I'll pay for
Yeah.
the tickets.
Carmelo, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned something very, very insightful. Follow the train station.
Yeah.
What would be something else that new investors should be considering to look at for what?
Man, right now, like with this market the way it is, I'm just like looking out to see like,
He's trying to pick your brain to see where you can go find a good property.
I don't even know. I'm so fucking confused.
He's trying. Don't let him trick you. He's trying to
Everybody's
get
getting
it.
the same info.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Just, I'm so
Yeah.
confused right now because I even like for my Airbnbs, right? I'll just give you an idea. And I have some in the Jersey Shore, I got some up here, and people are just paying me to rent one room $450 a week because they can't find apartments. So I'm getting like $1,800 a month for one bedroom
Oh wow.
What area?
in Newark. And they're sharing the bathroom and kitchen, and people are paying me that much. And they'll book on Airbnb, and then they'll rebook because
That's crazy.
they can't find apartments.
Now, are these students that go to Rutgers University, maybe?
No,
or?
I got people coming from. I got a guy from Germany coming today. I have a lady that from New York. She lived in New York and she was moving to New Jersey. She's looking for an apartment.
Okay.
I got people from Spain, Brazil coming from.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I was.
it's crazy.
We'll put it this way. I'm not gonna name the town, but it's near Jersey Gardens, and I saw this. I can just tell they weren't from the area.
Yeah.
And they were like pulling luggages down
Oh,
the
really?
street,
Yeah.
walking from Jersey Gardens, and I was like, But they probably found something good in that area for an Airbnb. I don't know Airbnb pricing like that, but what are they paying in that area?
I don't know.
It's Elizabeth. It was Elizabeth.
I'm getting
Court.
like between $49 to $69 a night per room. So
It's better than all those Marriotts.
yeah, better than
It's
the
cheaper than
Marriott's
those
and the
Marriotts.
hotel and stuff like that. And these are people from overseas, and I guess they're used to visiting hostels. That's common, I guess, overseas.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. I got one guy who's a 22-year-old kid. He just travels the country. He's like, I just travel the country and I work for my laptop. I was like, you lucky motherfucker. I was like, if I was 22 years old, I had this technology back then.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to find now is just like the next opportunity, and there's nothing to find. Like fix and flips. You can't find. There's no meat on the bone for those.
Yeah.
What
Multifamilies, they're all shit.
What gives you that cap? Is that do you have a set number that you want to make, or what gives?
I don't even look
what
at
gives it
cap
to you?
rates. My thing is cash on cash, and it's got to be double digits.
Okay.
You know, so I got to get minimum 12% cash on cash to make it worth my while.
Okay.
So people are like, oh, I got a 6%. Like the other day, I posted it the other day. It was like 2 families in Clifton, New
that.
Jersey, $699. One unit $2,800, the other unit $2,500. 6% cap. I'm like, no, it's not, motherfucker. I was like, I can do that math in my head. I can tell you it's not that's a negative cash flow property.
Yeah.
And this guy's posting it like it's the best investment ever. I'm like,
Since 2020, Clifton has literally had there hasn't been any listings. This is not a fact, but there hasn't been any listings for more than 30 days in Clifton.
Really?
If you go to Zillow.com and you put for sale, put sold,
Yeah.
all you're going to see is yellow dots. You don't
yeah.
even see the landscape of Clifton.
Yeah.
Clifton is crazy
Yeah, I don't know.
for the last 3
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah, but
it's
like
out of control over there.
follow the train lines, really. I don't know.
That's really what it is. That's what they did in New York. It's just all about the train line. So
That's smart.
what's
Yeah.
happening in the South Bronx is they have the 6 train that runs through the same train they're taking from Brooklyn into Manhattan. Now they can take that train coming from uptown and take it down. So
Yeah.
they put up the residential building. These guys already got that math figured out.
Yeah.
Or they've already done the studies from what they did in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Same thing. So now they're just going to take the 6 train down. Just
Yeah.
follow the train.
Yeah, even like the Harapes I have in Illinois, we're literally a bridge right over. We're in this downtown St. Louis area, right?
Nice.
And downtown St. Louis, a 2 bedrooms, $1,800. All right, wait. When there's a recession coming, and everyone loses their job or whatever the case may be, we just come over the bridge for $700. You know what I
Wow.
mean? It's like half the price for a 2-bedroom apartment. So it's just a matter. And then we took over that building, and we just raised the rents on the existing tenants. There's no rent control, so we didn't clobber them. We built back the water, and then the new apartments, we got 2 bedrooms between $795 and $895 a month, compared to our average when we bought it was $627. So we're slowly increasing the rents. There you're gonna have the commercial real estate like that. You have the value add because you're increasing your NOI. You know what I mean? So the bigger
What's that mean? What's NOI?
a net operating income. So that's your net after all the expenses. So you increase those rents. Those numbers aren't based off comparable. So if that idiot down the block sold his 4-family for $150, and you think yours is worth $600,000, well now that comp killed you. You know what I mean? Where with the larger apartment complexes, your NOI is what determines your value. So, but again, back to the beginning of this show, I'm trying to refinance the property now. I still got to wait 12 months to refinance out. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But
Yeah, that's seasoning. That's
Yeah.
called seasoning.
yeah,
So
I think I just saw, we just started working with a new bank that there was no seasoning period.
oh really?
I don't know if they do refinances, but I'll
Yeah.
find out for you.
Yeah, find out. Yeah, if not, it makes no sense to me. It's so stupid because if I sell him the property tomorrow for $3.6 million, he'll get a loan with no problem. But I can't refinance.
You can't cash out.
I don't even
I'm
want
not
to
going
cash out.
anywhere.
I don't want to cash out. I just want to pay back the investors. That's it. Your hard money loan. That's all I really want to pay back. I don't want any cash in my pocket. I was like, I don't need the cash. You know?
They don't see it that way.
Yeah. They're like, we want you to bring $500,000 to the table. I'm like, why? I got the equity. It makes no fucking sense.
They saw your car collection, bro.
Yeah, maybe.
They don't
that's
believe you.
I'm like, kick rocks, motherfucker. But anyway, we'll just have to wait to 12 months and then do it at that point, So hopefully rates still don't go too high. I don't think they're going to go much higher. I think it might be stabilizing. So,
Now they're saying fourth quarter.
huh?
They said first quarter would be 5% steady. Don't worry about it. We're back. Then they moved to the second quarter. Now they're just skipping third, and they're saying now that rates in the fourth quarter will go back down to 5%.
Oh, really? Yeah. Let's see what happens.
In Spanish, we say dique.
DK?
I mean, but
So-
the
so they
Fed,
say.
the Fed just announced that interest rates are going to go up towards the end of the year. So that means interest rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
I think if the interest should be coming down towards maybe max half of next year.
Mhm.
If
Yeah. That's fine with me. I don't give a shit. That's about the time I got to refinance.
yeah, you'll be
Maybe
fine.
12 months.
You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. So at the end of the day, it's fine.
You'll be
I really
fine.
don't care. As long as it breaks even, I'm golden. I don't give a shit. I know I got the equity there. So worst case scenario, you sell the fucking thing and call it a day. That's why I always tell investors, you always want multiple exit clauses, exit strategies, right? What am I going to flip it? I make money. I rent it. I make money. Worst case scenario is what? You fuck up the entire project. You know what I mean? And then you go belly up. So that's why I always see these single family guys flipping single families. And if there's a correction,
You think the single and two family flips are completely dead, or at least in New Jersey?
no, the way the market's going, the demand is so high still. I don't know. Like the people buying this shit makes no sense to me because
That's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
entry, just your cost to the acquisition cost
Yeah.
is so high. That's what I mean. Do you think that's kind of killing that market, that where 2-3 years ago, you could flip something in 8-9 months,
oh yeah,
walk away with 150 in your pocket?
Yeah.
You think that's?
I think the banks are just being more conservative. I don't know how it is. Maybe I don't know. I haven't flipped a single family in a while, but is there seasoning with that too now?
No.
No, right? So if I can buy a single family fixed in 2-3 months, and then I can sell it and make $100,000 profit with no problem. So I don't know. Beats the shit out of me. To me, it's like the banks dictate the market, right?
Yeah.
So if they're okay lending to the single families and they're busting my balls about a 12-unit refinance, it's like, what the hell's going on? You know? But I was talking to a friend of mine. He works for a bank, and he's like, basically, it's a liquidity crisis right now. So everyone's hoarding their cash because they were lending dollar for dollar, right? I guess the Fed let them, if you have $20 million, you can lend $20 million. But now what the Fed wants to do with the banks is they want to do maybe 3-to-1. So if you got $15 million, they're only allowed to lend $5 million. So I don't know how that's going to play
That's
out.
what all that SVP said. They want to redo the regulations.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a term for it. I can't remember the
Yeah, I
term for it.
forgot.
Where
You
they're allowed
mentioned
to
something
rent,
like
yeah.
that. So I'm like, if that's the
amount
case,
to
everyone's hoarding
lend
their
out.
cash, these banks. They don't want to loan it out till they find out what the Fed's going to do, you know?
If you can't refinance, can you sell it like to a partner and maybe they get the loan?
That's what I was thinking, probably. You know what I mean?
Legally?
Huh?
Legally?
I don't see why it's
Sell
not
it to you.
illegal.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be legal? If I own
If
one
it's a
LLC,
partner,
he owns
yeah,
a different
he owns
LLC.
a different LLC.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't see it. But then again, if I sell for $3 million, he has to bring, 25% to the table. So that's
What would you do about the taxes? Would you just do a 1031 or?
Yeah, I would do 1031 because at the end of the day, it's just like shit. You're gonna get killed in taxes for 40% short term with state and federal. So it adds up. That's why it doesn't make sense. I tell people all the time it doesn't make sense to sell your private investment properties because if I go to the bank and they give me 75%, I only lost 25% equity, right? So, but if I sell it, I got to pay Uncle Sam 40%. So I'll just refinance. What's the point?
Right.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You-
it's gonna be fun.
Uncle Sam gets their
Never
share
loses.
no matter what.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the casinos. He never loses.
He ain't no
Yeah.
fucking uncle of mine.
Ain't my uncle.
Hey, my uncle, man. Shit. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. It's just a matter of play. Right now, it's kind of like everyone's in limbo because the banks have all these different guidelines that they may be changing for commercial and residential and stuff like that. But then again, you're going to see a lot of these people buying, $12,000, $15,000 mortgage payments in Paramus, New Jersey. It's going to come to a time they're going to be like, hold on a second. It's not even worth it. Because I've seen this happen the last crisis. Even though people can make their mortgage payments, they're like, fuck this. Why am I wasting all my money on this house that's not even worth it? And then they just walk away
Just
anyway.
walk away.
You know what I mean? So I've seen it in my own eyes. It was like this dude had a house in Saddle River, had like a 20. I remember doing the short sale. This guy had a dining room that sat 30 people, a garage with Ferrari, Lamborghini, all these other cars. He's like, I can't afford to live here no more. I'm like, are you fucking serious, man? I'm like, okay. You guys just basically didn't want to pay to make his mortgage payments because the house wasn't worth it anymore.
Just walked away. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
hey, you could. It only takes 10 years to redo.
Huh?
To start a redo, it only takes 10 years.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it happens. And I think the same thing's gonna happen when there's a correction. Those people making $10,000 a month mortgage payments on a $1 million house, they can be like, it's not worth it anymore. I'm out of here. So
Are we getting that correction next year?
I don't even know. Beats the shit out of
In the
me.
market,
In the house market.
I don't see it happening.
I don't. Like I said, like I think I spoke about this last time. It's the last crisis. The crisis happened, then they printed the money, right? I think this time they foresaw what was happening, and they made up a fucking fake pandemic because the bond market is ready to implode prior to the COVID. And if the bond market imploded like 1994, your rates would have spiked to from 3 to 12% literally overnight. So I think they printed the money, and COVID was the excuse. And now they're like, okay, well, let's do a slow correction instead of a crisis. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, a lot of people said that.
yeah, if you look before the pandemic, the bond market was like a shit show. Like car loans were defaulting. A lot of shit was defaulting prior to the pandemic, and then all of a sudden, somebody had bat stew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know something that interests me? The other day I saw a data point. People's savings are gonna run out by September. For most people. for the average U.S. person.
Yeah.
Mine ran out last September.
Yeah, I'm just refinancing, cashing out, and keeping as much as I can in the bank. That's what I'm doing.
So I guess if everybody runs out of cash, does their savings by September, what is really going to happen next year?
That's the thing we're going to see. Where
Print
people
more
can
money.
make the mortgage payments.
Print more money.
Well, somebody posted more stimulus money coming for people. I don't even know. I saw that
Is there?
post the other day. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
No. So I think there's the college. What the hell is that called? The student
forgiveness
loan.
loan?
Student,
Yeah.
yeah, student loan. So they're still talking about that. I was
That's
like,
gonna be a huge come to realization moment. I think in September more than I realized.
They didn't pass that, did they?
no. They
No,
haven't.
but they're
so,
supposed
so
to. Oh no, they're
it's-
not. They're not covering. No.
They don't care about the small
Yeah, they-
people.
So it's the. All right.
Well, if they do that, they should send people like me that pay already to school some money back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was funny because I had student loans from 1997. I never paid. I paid the minimum.
Yeah, but you know the interest you were paying on that.
I don't give a shit. So I was like, I owed like 40 grand. I ended up owing like 48 after I was done. But when I refinanced my house that I live in now, the bank's like, no, you got to pay them off. I'm like, who the fuck you to tell me to pay off my fucking loans? I was like, I'm paying $200 a month. I'm good. I don't give a fuck. They'll collect when I'm dead, you know? And, but yeah, so I told, my daughter's like, oh, because she had some money saved and we were going to put some money. She's like, oh, I want to pay off my loans. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, don't pay them shits. I was like, don't worry about it. We're going to buy your house, Airbnb it or rent it out, and then that's going to pay your student loan. So why would you do that? Take 50, 60,000 and buy something, you know? So she's putting in 30, I'm putting in 60. I was like, we'll get 90 grand and buy something. So I was like, there's no way in the world he's paying off your student loans. Let them wait for it.
The funny thing is, a lot of people think it's like just Republicans trying to fight Biden on the student loan. It's actually a lot of these banks that are losing out money.
Oh, yeah.
Since
Trillions.
these
Trillions.
since the student loans have been in forbearance,
Uh-huh.
they're losing tons of money. There are the ones over there with their hands in their pockets
Yeah.
and back in
Wall
Capital.
Yeah.
No, back with DC.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
the ones complaining because they're losing so much money on the interest payments.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I obviously the system's set up to fail. You know what I mean? Because you got these people with $200,000-$300,000 in student loans. You know what I mean? They're going to come out. Who's ever going to pay those back? You know? And then they can't go buy a house or get married or whatever because you take a female and a male with $150,000 each in loans. Now they got $300,000 in loans together. I was like,
No, they can fix that. They do an income-based repayment plan. So based off their income, so someone, I don't know the exact math to it. So if they make $150,000, they're gonna say, don't worry about it. Just give us $75 a month, and that's what we're gonna use to qualify for the mortgage.
oh, really?
And guess what? They're gonna be like, oh, this is great. This is less than my cell phone bill. But the interest that you're paying, you're gonna pay. Your kids are gonna be paying that off
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. You know, those people be in debt for the rest of their
the
life.
rest of their lives.
So it's just, the whole system's set up for bullshit.
It's all about that.
I feel so sorry for my brother. He's got like $300K in loans,
What?
something like that.
The hell are you made? What's his major? Doctor?
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Oh, no
Okay,
wonder.
makes sense.
Yeah,
What kind of doctor?
he's a pediatrician.
Oh, so
so
he's
he's
not-
not he's not even like a
Is
high
he still
paying
in school or?
No.
Okay.
He works for out in LA too.
Okay.
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
and he's having his second. Well, he already had his second kid. You know, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, but he's a doctor. He's making good money. You got people graduating with $300,000, graduating basket weaving. Like, what the fuck did you even pick that out? You know what I mean? So it's like, at least he's a doctor and he graduated with something. You know, these other people graduating with some shit degree. You know, so.
Do they give them like an amortization table? Like they tell them how long it's going to take for those payments to get repaid?
I have no idea. He
says
doesn't show
32,
me
50.
shit.
It just says forever.
It says last payment $32.50. Great grandkid
Yeah.
paid it off. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. $300 grand. That's nuts.
If there's any doctors, I'm not sure you guys have the doctor loans. You know how those work?
Yeah.
They base it off what their future income is going to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Zero money down.
Yeah, I've seen those.
I think it's 1% interest or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
some crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, we gotta ask Maurice.
Yeah.
He knows.
Well, you gotta be a MD, right? You can't be a PhD. It's only an MD.
Something that I've
Yeah,
never done, one, but
medical
I know
doctor.
that I know we offer them.
Yeah, 'cause I remember my physical therapist. I told him about that, and he looked into it. He's like, "Oh no, it's only for MDs."
Yeah.
So they don't do like physical therapists or those kind of chiropractors and stuff like that. You know. So they're like, we want to make sure you work in a hospital and you're making $500,000 a year before we give you the money.
Yeah, not some poor bloke.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
So let's hop into crypto real quick before we end the show. What's the latest update, Hector?
How are you doing on that trade that you got in 2 weeks ago? Are you doing good? Are you up?
Yeah, I'm definitely up. So I had it I had it to buy weekly, and then it went over 30K, so I was like, all right, fuck. So I stopped the auto buys.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't buying much. I
Where's
was like,
Bitcoin going? 100,000?
I don't know, man. I'm not. I'm. It's just like a little bit of a couple dollars here and there. That's
A little
it.
taste.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I did.
It's nothing serious, you know.
Yeah, but right now where we stand from a technical analysis standpoint, we want to break the 31,500 level. After that, then we're gonna head to 35.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What are we at now?
we're like at 30,700.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Let me check.
So let me ask you this though.
You don't think it's a pump and dump with who was the one who filed that documents with
BlackRock?
BlackRock? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No. I was
No.
like, those guys filed the paperwork, made it in the news. Everyone's gonna jump in.
Yeah, we
They're
talked
gonna-
about that last week.
They're gonna pull the carpet.
We was talking about
and
that
they're like,
last week.
It's at 30,686.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a pump and dump.
No.
No, and I actually like when Bitcoin starts going out slowly.
What do you mean?
Not a huge pump.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like we've since that announcement, Bitcoin has been up like no more than 15%.
50?
15.
15. Okay.
And we want to see that nice grind slowly.
Like sort of a consolidation.
Yeah, nice uptrend. We don't
Yeah.
want to see that big 50.
Yeah.
Because that's when you gotta
Okay.
shit,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Is it like with stocks where you're looking for the volume as well?
Yeah, volume has to be going up.
Yeah.
But July is gonna be a great month
Why?
because we have many indicators signaling July, and historically July by returns has given the highest returns on Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
Is it the millionaires out there in Caprice, Italy?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just like, I got nothing else to do. What's going on in the crypto
Yeah. They
market?
take,
Yeah, but
take summer off.
and you got more millionaires trying to jump in. And I guess if it's a pump and dump, hey, fuck it, we're in it to make money. So
Yeah. Fucking
if
dump
we
it.
don't use it,
So make sure you dump at the right time.
yeah, exactly. That's the whole.
I'm just gonna hold on to it this time.
Yeah.
Screw it.
Well, I'm actually not gonna be holding on to my Bitcoin. Once I see the top, that's when we gotta cash out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Can you do the trigger sales like we do with options where you could
Yeah.
Yeah.
buy,
Stop
buy
losses?
Stop losses?
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna be taking some Bitcoin profits when Bitcoin is between 35,000 and 45,000.
And the good thing about crypto,
Just profit, but I'm not cashing everything out. Just to see what's gonna happen next.
the big difference between crypto and the stock market is you don't have that overnight where you can take that big loss. Right? Crypto's 24
Crypto's
hours.
24
right?
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking wake up.
So if something happens, you have the opportunity. If something happens at there's some war that may happen or whatever the case may be that may trigger it, you can still sell it at 2-3 in the morning opposed to a stock. You got to wait till 9:30 the next morning. You
Yeah.
like this with your nails.
Well, not really.
If it's 24 hours like that, wouldn't be fucking
Well, it
sleeping.
depends.
Like,
It depends.
that's my crypto.
It depends. If you have more than $25,000 in your account, you can sell by 4 a.m.
If you have less than 25?
More.
No, say what if you have less than 25?
You gotta wait till 9:30.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
For what?
You can't sell
To make a
before-
transaction.
Off of
If you
crypto?
have less than 25 in your
Yeah.
account. 25.
And it depends on the brokerage too. Some let you put transactions at 7 a.m. But you have to have more than 25,000 in your account.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's no way to get around like that Weeble thing that people do to try to day
No.
trade.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
You gotta trade. You gotta trade on a cash account, not a margin
Cash
account.
account, right?
Yeah. So when you trade on a cash account,
It's the same way you do with options. As long as you have a cash
I don't know
account,
if you have
you
a
can
cash
day
account,
trade.
you could day trade it. But yeah, but you have to wait until your money comes back in 3 days. I was talking about
But
options.
if you have enough, the way like, a lot of people talk negative about that, but if you have enough cash, you're fine.
yeah, you're
You
fine.
can't just do $10,000,
No, it's-
$15,000
that's actually-
trades.
That's actually the best way to grow a portfolio on a cash account for somebody that doesn't have 25,000 that can't day trade. You have to, let's say, I don't know, you have 10,000.
We're not recommending day trading
Yeah,
or
we're
anything
not
like that.
recommending none of that. This- no financial advice, nothing. So let's say, somebody with $10,000, right? They want to start building up their portfolio or 5,000, whatever. Break that down in 5 days and make your best trades if there are any. So, for example, I placed a trade yesterday.
Option?
Call option. I'm up 116% on
Long
that call
or
option. Long. I went long.
how many months
on my
out?
way here? I was 96, but it's still going up. It's Mara. Mara is a blockchain. It's a stock
I've
related
heard
to
of it.
blockchain. Mara.
How many months out?
No, I only go 15 days. Fuck months. That's
Oh, so it was a short.
No. So my
It's more of a swing trade.
yeah. I don't.
It's a
hold
lot
more
of
than
terms.
What was that stock? Which stock? Was
Mara.
Mara.
That? It has to do with
M-A-R-A.
blockchain.
What's the
Yeah,
you know the
it's
ticker?
a mining company.
You know the ticker of top of your head?
Of what?
You know the ticker?
Yeah, MARA. I traded it. Yeah.
M-A-R-A.
So if you actually go,
Yeah, I've traded it in the past.
yeah. So if you actually check my Instagram, you see my
What's
plan.
that Instagram?
GW.
What
Oh,
Instagram?
Yeah, Quotes Industries.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm just not.
You
trying
missed
to,
it.
I'm just not. Well, yeah, Quotes Industries. If you actually go check my Quotes Instagram's account, you see my plan. And then you see throughout this whole day where my call
This is
option
all
has been
you're doing technical, fundamental.
all technical. Fuck fundamentals. I don't like fundamentals. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
No, it is fun.
Yeah, I know.
It is fun.
You're in the market
Huh?
at all, or
It
No,
is
the
fun.
blockchain. I'm intrigued by the blockchain technology behind all this because I think that's the internet of the future, right? Like back in the 90s, everyone's like the internet's a fad, but the blockchain is where it's going to be at. You know what I mean? So the Mara and other blockchain platforms like that, I think that's where the best investment's going to be and the long-term investment's going to be.
And the way the market, we're in a bull market right now. So AI, and since Bitcoin is over 30,000, it's a psychological number. These round numbers play a big, mind game on people. You get these companies that are blockchain related that are in the sector going up, making moves.
or correlates.
What other companies are blockchain?
Riot, RIOT,
Riot. Okay.
yeah, and Hut 8,
I tried to get into Riot like a year ago.
Hut 8,
I forgot what happened.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where the safe long investment might be. Maybe.
Well, I don't know because I don't do long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
So you just swing in or day trade?
I used to do long a lot.
swing trade, day
Yeah.
trade.
Yeah, mainly swing trade.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
long,
now you're like a one night stand. Getting out.
long trade,
It could be a week.
leaps, right? That's what leaps, right? Like leap trading, like 3 or 4 or 5 months out. That's more like what you do in real estate. You do long term.
Yeah, so swing trader would be like wholesaling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day trading would be like flipping.
Yeah.
You saw we brought that back. Then we're good.
Yeah, because we're in a real estate show.
You see how it
so-
all correlates?
Yeah, it correlates seriously. And then your cash flow would be your long term investment
Yeah,
with
exactly.
a stock that has dividends.
Yeah.
I call it. I'd say day trading is more of wholesaling, and swing trading would be like a flip, kind of sort of. And then if you're a buy and hold type of person, that's your
Long
either
game.
stocks or options where you're going out 6 to a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never learned options.
The comparison
I should've
is
learned
there.
Options.
No, but options is risky.
Yeah.
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 There's
There's a lot of
You
risk in
bet, if you
it.
don't know what you're doing, I tell people that
Yeah.
want to get into it, I say you're better
No.
off just going down to Atlantic City,
Oh, really?
putting it all on
And
black.
you have to know
You got a
exactly.
better chance. You got a much better
What if you
chance.
put on red?
Either one, either black or red or the green. I love the green. What is the one with the greens with the zeros? I love those as well.
Yeah, but no, you gotta know why you're doing, why you,
Yeah.
buying that call.
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
All right, guys. So
We're out of time here.
our time's
time
up
already?
Yeah, our
That was a
time's
quick
well.
hour.
Our time's been up. our time was up like maybe 5-10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, you're right.
you guys were having a
had
lot
too
of
much fun.
fun, so I just let it go.
Sounds like fun, guys.
Yeah. So I want to thank the hosts,
Cool.
Carmelo, Joe, and Hector, and then we got Gerald behind the screens over there. So thanks for that.
Till
Guys,
next week.
catch us again next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're going to be live on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
Please
and,
like, share, subscribe. Any good comments, bad comments, put them in the chat. Be
Yeah. Let us
Trying to
know
bring as
if,
much knowledge
if
as
there's a certain topic you want us to cover. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not too crazy.
Or personal.
Yeah, or personal, right? We don't want to get banned. So, we're cool.
Sounds
Awesome,
good.
guys.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks so
Good
much.
job.
See you next week.
Later.
Thank you.
Shut it down.